After a 5-month investigation into sexual harassment claims against New York Governor Andrew Cuomo, the state's Attorney General Letitia James released a report corroborating his accusers' stories.
The Independent's investigation found that Governor Cuomo sexually harassed multiple women, many of whom were young women, by engaging in unwanted groping, kisses, hugging, and by making inappropriate comments. Further, the governor and his senior team took actions to retaliate against at least one former employee for coming forward with her story, her truth. And Governor Cuomo's administration fostered a toxic workplace that enabled harassment and created a hostile work environment where staffers did not feel comfortable coming forward with complaints about sexual harassment due to a climate of fear and given the power dynamics.
Now, Cuomo, who requested the investigation, says despite the report, he has done nothing wrong.
Know directly from me that I never touched anyone inappropriately or made inappropriate sexual advances. I am 63 years old. I've lived my entire adult life in public view. That is just not who I am, and that's not who I have ever been.
Investigators spent those 5 months speaking to nearly 200 people, including staff members and some of those who made complaints against Cuomo. Thousands of documents, texts, and pictures had to be reviewed as part of the inquiry. James says there's evidence Cuomo and his senior staff worked to retaliate against a woman who accused him of harassment.
There were attempts to undermine and to politicize this investigation. And there were attacks on me as well as members of the team, which I find offensive. And our focus, again, should be on the bravery and the courage of these 11 women and of the others who came forward. These allegations were substantiated. They were corroborated. And the team before you, Ms. Clark and Mr. Kim, are professionals who are widely respected, not only in New York, but all across this nation. And I support their work, will defend their work, and I believe these women. We were tasked with the responsibility of engaging in an investigation. And we have concluded our investigation. And our work is done. And so as it relates to next steps, that's entirely up to the governor and or the assembly and the general public. But the work of the Office of the Attorney General and these special deputies has concluded. We were tasked with the responsibility by the governor of the state of New York to issue a report, and we have issued this report. And all throughout the process, we put our heads down, we've done our work, and at this point, we're going to allow the chips to fall where they may.
President Joe Biden was asked about this story at today's White House news conference. This is the question and his response.
Mr. President, I have a question for you on coronavirus, but first I'd like to start with the news of the day, given back in March you said that if the investigation confirmed the allegations against Governor Cuomo, then he should resign. So will you now call on him to resign, given the investigators said the 11 women were credible?
I stand by that statement.
Are you now calling on him to resign?
Yes.
And if he doesn't resign, do you believe he should be impeached and removed from office?
Let's take one thing at a time here. I think he should resign. I understand that the state legislature may decide to impeach. I don't know that for a fact. I've not read all that data.
And he's using a photo of you embracing him in his self-defense to say that these are commonplace kind of embraces that he made and the allegations against him. Do you condone that?
Look, I'm not going to fly-spec this. I am sure there are some embraces that were totally innocent. But apparently the Attorney General decided there were things that weren't.
If I could ask you a question about the evictions.
All right, let's bring in my panel here, Teresa Lundy, of course, Mustafa, as well as Amisha Cross. So, Teresa, you're in communications. You saw the governor's response. What does he do next?
admit to the American people that he has done wrong and apologize continuously to these women and remove himself from office. That's the only thing that he can do. It's not like he's hurt. He's made a book. And millions of dollars have been. Look, he has a legacy. I think this is the right time to get out. Knowing that these allegations are against him. But there's no more room for him to really stand on the sidelines to say it is not me. It is, it's not my intentions anymore. But it would be him showing massive leadership to him in his standing, in his legacy, and his policies to show what he has done, not only in the pandemic, but prior as governor. But again, his allegations can't be ignored. So the only thing he can do right now is bow down and bow out of that leadership position to allow somebody else who doesn't have that type of scrutiny to lead the office with integrity.
One of the things that also jumps out here, Amisha, is Andrew Cuomo's brother, Chris Cuomo, host on CNN. According to this report, Chris Cuomo actually helped Andrew Cuomo. First of all, he participated in strategy calls with his brother and helped craft his response to the sexual harassment allegations. Should he be removed off the air of CNN as a result of this report?
I think that's going to fall under the purview of what CNN decides is a workplace violation and what isn't. I think that when it comes to family matters, there are a lot of people who will try to protect their siblings, their parents, and whomever they're related to by blood, even if it means doing some things that are probably not up to par with values of any sort. And I think that that's what we saw with Chris and Andrew Cuomo. The big issue here for me isn't whether or not his brother is going to get caught up by CNN as much as it is, well, actually, I don't think that Cuomo should have been allowed to even interview his brother on CNN during the duration of this process, but we saw that happened regardless. The issue for me here is that everything that Cuomo is accused of doing, people knew he did for years. Because the 11 women who came forward and who are presented in that 165-page document from Letitia James's office, these are women who had most of their groping, most of the inappropriate comments. All of those things were done in the public eye, in a public face. So other people were easily able to corroborate said stories because he didn't do a lot of this stuff in private. There was a level of emboldenment that comes from Cuomo specifically, and his apology was horrible at best, but and it was a semi-apology. He wasn't really sorry about anything, but he doesn't want to admit to any wrongdoing. And I think that that's problematic because there are so many people and such a trail of basic indecency that he did for years in that office. We know that there's a statute of limitations on these cases. In particular, I think it's 3 years. Right now, we're looking at a situation where there can still be some civil suits that these women could bring against the governor. But I agree with what was previously said. The smartest thing for him right now would be to resign. His legacy is already tarnished. That's over and done with. He will never be able to run for anything else, and nobody is going to remember him for anything beyond these very egregious sexual harassment claims. But beyond that, I think that there are a lot of people who also should fall on their sword because Andrew Cuomo, like many others who are in higher office, do this to women all of the time, and other people around them see it, whether it is their executive staff, whether it was people who are fundraising with them, be it whether it's other Democrats who are high-level officials. A lot of the things that he did and he said, they took it as an old boys club and they were fine with it. And he continued to do it over and over with years under his belt of being a sexual aggressor. And I think that we should all come to grips with understanding this climate of workplace intolerable behavior that was funneled through that office, but also one that he had built and it became part of his facade. That was part of the Cuomo essence, to be aggressive towards women. And I think that we can't talk about this story without talking about the fact that Cuomo is that guy, and Cuomo was known as that guy, and everyone knew it for decades. And it is just now that he is finally about to face the music.
So it was quite interesting. It was quite interesting, Mustafa, to see Andrew Cuomo's response include photos of President Joe Biden, President Barack Obama, hugging and kissing women. This is right here This is literally what he included in his response. These are some of the images right here. Dude, you're the one who's facing the allegations. You're not facing allegation that you hugged somebody. You're facing allegations that you groped and sexually harassed women and they retaliated against them for complaining.
Right. Yeah, he was just trying to be slick with it, trying to say, well, see, they did it and it wasn't misinterpreted. So this is just a misinterpretation of my actions. When you got 11 people, and there may be more, who are saying that you did these types of things, when you have law enforcement who are a part of your detail who says that you did these types of things, when you have staffers, when you have all these other folks, then, those commonalities usually lead back to something. Now, we know everybody is entitled to their day in court, but the reality of the situation is not only should he resign, but he should also get help, because sometimes we don't talk about that enough, that, he's still going to be walking around on this planet for a while. So he needs to go actually get help to not just understand what he did and why he did what he did, but to stop and make sure that it never happens in the future. And sometimes we don't make sure that we call that out enough when we're dealing with men. So yes, you should lose your job or lose these other types of things, but you also got to make sure that you're doing something to make sure that you are healing so you don't continue this type of behavior and hurt anybody else, because these ladies, they've got to carry this for the rest of their lives. Sexual harassment is a serious thing. And sometimes we'll say, well, if somebody wasn't raped, it's not that serious. Yes, it is serious, because you are hurting somebody both on the spiritual level and on the physical level and the mental level. So he has a responsibility to actually make sure that he never does anything like this again.
Well, of course, he had made clear he was going to be running for a third term. The question is, will that continue? His poll numbers have been dropping, and so we'll certainly see what happens next.
Back to that Roland Mark Unfiltered video in just one moment.
Our friends with Seek.com, they are back.
Yo, this is Ziggy Marley. Catch my live performance on Seek.
Bon Jovi, and you're watching us on Seek.
What's going on in this Quavo Honcho? Right now you in the Honcho's world. Please let the music play.
It's a black-owned company founded by Mary Spio. They, of course, have their virtual reality content that you can actually see via their app, Seek.com, but they also have the product they actually sell. So one of the products you can see right here, folks, is their virtual headset that you see right here, which allows for you to actually see the content. Just simply place your phone right in here, and then you can actually see a particular video. But remember, they also have their great headsets, and so this is one, and actually they've added a new color. So you saw these before. We showed you these before. They're black and white. Excuse me, they're black and gold headsets, 360-degree surround sound. And so they sent me their headsets, and I said, okay, cool. Then I opened this one, and y'all know I was like, okay, I like this one here. All gold. Now, as an alpha, I love this here. And so this is their all gold headset. And so it is absolutely amazing sound. The bass is incredible. Just go to Seek.com, but use this promo code. It's RMVIP21. Now we should have put it in the lower third, please. The promo code is RMVIP21. Go to Seek.com. And so when you purchase either the headset or the VR headset, we also get a cut of the proceeds, and we certainly appreciate Seek being returning as one of our partners here at Roland Martin Unfiltered.